Okay, now the last thing, this isn't required at this point, but ultimately you will be required to combine images onto one canvas. So what I want to show you here is how I would present these on one canvas. So all somebody has to do is open my designs up on one canvas instead of opening up two designs and trying to flip back and forth in a browser window to see them. So all I did was open up my Fluctuation Prentice JPEG and my foreground background Prentice JPEG, right? So I got these two JPEGs open. I need a third canvas. I'm going to do File, New. I like to stack my images. So now this is going to be kind of custom. Like, how wide do you make it? I'm going to make it about 800 wide, and I'm going to make it 2,000 pixels tall. Okay, you see that's 800 by 2,000, 72 dpi, ppi. And I'm going to crop this. Now, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take my foreground background. You'll notice that this it's one layer. The first thing I think I want to do is contain this, so when I drop it onto that canvas, it has a little border around it, an outline around the white. To do that, I'm going to select all. I'm going to do Edit, Stroke. I'm going to do 1 pixel. Boom, it's going to have a little border around it. Now, select all, copy. Select all is Command A, and then Command C. Go over to my little untitled piece here, and I'm going to paste it. Now, you see how big that is? Hit V on your move tool. Hit T for transform. Hold down your shift key so it's proportional and move that thing around. Now remember, I'm looking at it from far off. I'm zoomed out, okay? And I'm going to adjust it like that. Now, let me go over to my fluctuation here. Again, make sure there's only one here. I don't need to put an outline around this one because it's mostly black, right? It's not like there's this big white space that's going to be left there when I copy it over. So I'm going to do Command A, Command C, go over here, Command V, Command T, transform. I'll show you how to use rulers and stuff so you make sure that you get them perfectly aligned later. But right now, I'm just going to eyeball it. Hit return. Hit V, move that around, give it a little space, okay? And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it. Now I'm old school. I use the selection tool to crop, sorry. You can use the crop tool. I'm going to do an edit. Sorry, I'm going to do an image crop. Now I'm going to hit double click the magnifying glass. Look how big that is. I can even resize this for the class. Sorry. I can make this, how big does it have to be? Image size, at this point, I can say, make it 600 wide, okay? To move it, hold down your space key. See that little hand that appears? So I'm moving it around. It looks pretty lined up, right? So there's my top one. There's my foreground background. There's my bottom one, my fluctuation. Now, the last thing is, and so I'm on different layers here. The last thing is I'm going to put a little label on it. Click on my text tool. I'm going to click on Arial, just some standard font. I'm going to make it 11 pixel, 11 pixel. I'm going to click here, okay, and it automatically creates a new layer. Now here I'm going to do top, let's see, from top, colon, foreground / background, comma, fluctuation. Jeff Prentice 2014, right? All right. Go up and hit my move tool. I'm going to bring this over. I'm just going to label it just like standard magazine label that you'd see from top. In other words, you're telling somebody, starting from the top, you're going to see foreground, background, and then you're going to go down to fluctuation. I don't have to put from top, then now we're at the bottom. And you don't have to over direct. You just say starting from the top, foreground, background, fluctuation, spelled it right, Jeff Prentice 2014. Now I'm ready, file, save for web, and I can save this and I can call it, final draft. I mean, the naming convention, but the final draft Prentice, I'm just going to call it. There you go. So that is what I'm going to post in the class, labeled on one canvas, nicely presented. I'm telling you, presentation counts for a lot. It's just like what they say in video. You can have tremendous video, but if you have poor quality audio, people aren't going to enjoy the video that much. But you can have more mediocre video, but tremendous audio, and people are going to love it. And that's where the presentation, these designs aren't that great, but the presentation is pretty nice. And I think that's going to go, that's going to go a long ways. So that's my final tip.